Yeah. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. OnChain revolution, you're not bullish enough. Every day we steady looking at the market, and we gon' tell you how to get started. Chain abstraction, fear and greed index, always looking at price action. Broke on advance, you don't even gotta mention. I swap it in the deck, you're not bullish enough. Traded in the segs, you ain't trenching enough. We do that market recap. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to rehab. Shizzy and Yagobi. OnChain revolution, network in the art. Every day we go live, baby, you know where we are. We mention all the networks and the crypto. Need some more liquidity, flipping and trading is the recipe. Too many protocols to count. I get high and I'm never coming down. Number go up, then I'ma say peace. Yeah, you thought that I was gonna leave. Yeah, we just getting started, man. OnChain revolution. Every day. Bring the beat back. Eyes everywhere, gotta be careful with volatile meme coins. You can get some bread if you round trip it, then you gon' regret. All this information in my head. BYOR, touch grass instead. Nobody really knows how it's gon' end up today. Somebody gotta tell you what's happening today. I don't let the money change me, no way. OnChain revolution, here to stay. Yeah, say I'm Sage, man. Voodoo 2 on the way. Yeah, Nicky's. Yeah, OnChain revolution. OnChain. Hey, OnChain revolution. Bitcoin not an illusion. Market recaps, then I do a roll call. You're not bullish in the vocal. Look at the price action, change. Yeah, send it to the deck. Sell it through the stack. Order knows the best. Too much Bitcoin, gotta go to read. If you end up bearish, gotta put the knee pad. Let me see the comments. Look at the fear and greed index. Bridge. Look at the chart.
Welcome back to OnChain Revolution. My name is Shizzy on the channel to cover the entire Bitcoin crypto ecosystem. What's up, guys? We have an amazing show for you guys today. We're live for the OnChain Hour, and today is going to be better than Bitcoin's price action because we're not dumping 19,000 Bitcoin on the chart like he did last night in a low liquidity market. Sucks. But what he did, though, is he converted it to Ethereum, which is crazy. So this giant whale, and we're gonna get into it in depth later, but he just dumped insane amount of Bitcoin in the 9K KYZ area and basically on Hyperliquid, and it's like a DApp on Hyperliquid. We're gonna get into a lot of that, but insane, guys, insane. We got Bitcoin sitting at 112,258. Bitcoin is battling back. It did hit 110 last night. Ethereum's looking super strong though at 4656. Really excited for Ethereum. I think Ethereum's really going to start breaking that 47, 48. Probably today, honestly. Definitely today. XRP's looking strong. Dog kind of getting whooped again, down 7%. But it's like Bitcoin sneezes, and a lot of these runes, man, they get really hit hard. We're going to get into some Trench Kitty as well. Curious what you guys think. What do you guys think about the markets right now? How are you guys feeling? Put it in the chat. Make sure you guys hit the like button and the share button if you can. Really appreciate that. So without further ado, bring my partner here as always, Mr. Yagobi. What's up, buddy?
What's up?
What's up, man? How was your weekend? How you feeling, bro?
Man, my weekend was a little all over the place. Started off Friday with that good old fantasy football draft, which I didn't do quite great on that. I skipped last season. So, I mean, I'm going to be honest. I'm a transparent person. I got second to last in my score. But, hey, it's all about being able to adjust and stuff. So I'm ready for that. But heading into the weekend, man, I felt like we were in really good energy. We had that turnaround with Bitcoin and ETH. We pretty much all on the same page that we're going to get a Fed rate cut in September. Only to get just really thrown off on Sunday. Saturday, we expected some profit taking, a little bit of shaving off here and there. No problem. Sunday started off pretty good. Ethereum hit a new all-time high, 49.55. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, 24,000 Bitcoin gets dropped like a bomb. It just scared. It freaked people out. And there was a a waterfall of sales that occurred with a little bit of a bounce back this morning, but not quite where we were, right? I was expecting $5,000 Bitcoin after it hit 49. I told my wife, I said, we're about to go to 5,000. And then we go back to like 45, right? So, I think, there was a lot of confusion for a lot of people in the markets. If you guys have been paying attention, especially, we did a members video that morning and we didn't expect the 24,000 Bitcoin bomb, but just stay focused here, because I think we're starting to get a little bit of clarity now today of, they dumped the Bitcoin. People are hyper focused on Ethereum. Tom Lee came out, talked about buying more Ethereum. I think Ethereum does hit that $5,000 mark before the month end. I'm still calling that. We're just so close, and there's no reason to be bearish right now, other than, maybe some volatility from Trump. But like, other than that, like, the Fed's on the same page as him finally, going to cut rates. Bitcoin's going down, Ethereum's going up. That is always a tall tale sign, right? Of possibly some alts are going to start pumping as well. So I think we just need to press pause a little bit and say, take a deep breath and say, we're about to get back on track. That's my thoughts. I could be wrong, but that's where I'm at.
Yeah, 100%. We're gonna get into a little bit about like the September red that we see every September, but it could really be different. Like, and this time, because of the sense of markets are forward looking. So looking at the September rate cut, the October rate cut, and the December rate cut, I mean, that's put us in a rate cutting cycle. And I want people to understand there's two things that make a crypto bull run very successful. That's a rate cutting cycle, and that is quantitative easing. And we might get both of them. So yeah, 100% agree with you. I'm definitely excited for the next couple weeks and a couple months, but let's jump right into it. Let's get into the first TK update. So my guy TK on that Bitcoin news yesterday, he got hit pretty hard. So this is kind of the chart right now. I'm kind of happy with this, because you did see some of the bigger holders here kind of dump, and there's still a couple left that I kind of want to see dump a little bit, because that's how we're going to be successful. 1.8%, that's fine. 1.2%, that's fine. Just got to get rid of these guys up here. Obviously, if you guys don't know, this is the bridge. This is the liquidity pool, and then you got a couple holders here. So it is nice that some of these bigger whales are dumping out of this. I am thinking we're going to see some upward momentum again here off this bounce, and kind of hit back up here. Maybe we come back down again. I don't know, before we kind of break back up. So I am kind of hoping for something like this. I think this chart would be really nice, taking us to 300K. We are trading now on the Magic Eden side of things. We're sitting at a 200K market cap over here. We got some buys, bro. 1 hour ago, 2 hours ago, 3 hours ago. This is starting to heat up over here. So really excited about the Bitcoin side as well, because a lot of strong holders over here. Not saying Solana's not strong holders. I'm just saying, like, a lot of them get a little scared at times, especially when Bitcoin drops 5,000. But what do you feel? How do you feel about the TK chart here, and what is happening right now on the Bitcoin side?
I think it's absolutely healthy on the Solana side, right? The redistribution is very important. There was actually a tweet from Tolly, which is the founder of Solana, saying that he noticed that tokens that have a staking mechanism tend to do better than memes or other tokens that don't have it at all. We have it on the Bitcoin side. I think something that we can look for is on the Solana side is try to create, figure out some sort of partnership. So if you guys are listening in on the Solana side and know of a good staking protocol, let us know. Just drop a comment, drop a message to us, because we'd love to get that started. But I do agree with what he's saying, and we're going to show some basic fundamentals on the Bitcoin side, because we worked with Fluid over the weekend. Obviously, there was that airdrop to the members and pass holders, all that great stuff, right? But it was really smooth, and we expect the staking side to be even more smooth, and we're going to get into that later. But yeah, this is, to me, a really good redistribution of the token. Also, you got to remember, and just to give you some ease here, GMGN did update the top 10 holder account is not including the bridge, because I guess they recognize that. So
they recognize the bridge.
Yeah. So
Wow.
they're doing like a 16. I think we're at like 16% in top 10. Still higher than you'd probably like, but still much better than what initially it was saying. So and shout out to RuneMine, by the way, to be able to get that acknowledgement. You know what I mean? From GNGM and other analytics platforms for tokens on Solana. But yeah, guys, remember this right now, we're all going through kind of like this confusion time period in the all time. And believe me, like I complain to Shizzy pretty much every single day about the trenches. Like you guys don't, I know you guys see me whining on my X, but like he's probably like stop at this point because I'm constantly just it's nasty out there. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because that's where you're seeing all this pullback. People are trying to figure out where they can feel like a safe haven. You guys know that we're good in Trench Kitty and stuff, but some of these new holders probably just nervous, right? Feel like the entire alt market is getting flushed a bit, and unfortunately, until there's like a big drastic like ETH going up and Bitcoin going down, which we might be in a similar in that type of process right now. I think the rest of alts are just going to be taking the place of what ETH was doing before it started to get hyper aggressive, right? ETH was taking, like, every time Bitcoin got punched, ETH got punched twice. Now that's like calmed down a ton. ETH is stronger actually than Bitcoin. It's outperforming it. So what we need right now is it to really outperform it and then kind of give the green light there for alts. So just a little pitch. Focus on growing the community and the X account. I'm going to keep saying that every day. The Trench Kitty community needs to continually grow in numbers. So keep telling people about it, and that should be the main focus. But also share the space and all that stuff. Do everything you guys do to help get the word out about On-Chain Revolution and Trench Kitty at the same time.
Yeah, 100%. And really cool thing too. We have 189 holders on Solana. And then the Bitcoin side, we have 369. So we're over 500 holders now of Trench Kitty. I mean, we're a week old at this point. We're today's day 8. So we're like a week and a day old. So, and this is awesome, guys. I do love the fact that 40% is over on the Bitcoin side. Absolutely awesome. A lot of people bridged. Really cool to see. And and I think we're about to erupt. I do think we're going to see this 200K over here to kind of match the side. And it's funny, even with the airdrop on the Bitcoin side, people still aren't like dumping it under 200K. So that's super strong to me, that people kind of see the Bitcoin side actually sees the value of Trench Kitty, and they're saying, this is not go below 200K over here. And I'm excited for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of by nature, the Bitcoin ecosystem is more of a hodl culture. And, we'll see if we can make that a bit more similar on the Solana side as well. Some things I think I'm going to look into a little bit further on the staking side. I think that would make a difference. At least it'd be there. So you can have it on both sides.
100%. And we are giving away some TK today. All you got to do is go into the chat and put a TK, and then if you're on the YouTube side, please put your X handle. Obviously on the Twitter side, don't have to worry about putting your X handle because we got your name, and I need that just so I can reach out to you guys, because it's almost impossible to find you if you, one, don't have the same YouTube name as your X name, and two, if you don't put your X handle in there, I can't reach out to you to get your wallet address, right? So we want you guys today to make sure you're putting TK and then your X handle as well, because that will definitely help me reach out to you. And shout out to Joko. Joko, I couldn't find you. So now we're good now, because after the stream ended, I couldn't remember your X handle. So I'm gonna get you what you deserve from last week as well. But let's kind of get on this list here, guys. Let's do it. But let's kind of get into today's show with the first big thing. Let's get into the title first. ETH all-time high now 4955, just under that 5K mark. 24K Bitcoin sold for Ethereum. First American-made crypto ETF. Let's get into the first part of that. And this is actually huge, because not only did Ethereum hit an all-time high, but Ethereum broke the resistance of 0.04 on the Bitcoin ETH chart, which I think is one of the most underrated charts in crypto right now, because this is the definition of alt season. So this is absolutely huge here. Let me actually show what is happening on that chart. So this is it. Let me get rid of this giant red line here. So this is huge. We finally broke that 0041. We haven't broke that since, I want to say, last year. So us coming back up here, testing this, could send us back. I mean, I'm thinking we potentially break all-time high. It's a huge push up against Bitcoin, but I definitely think that is possible. I mean, we've seen it before, right? So, but what do you think about the ETH Bitcoin chart and Ethereum's new all-time high of 4950?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the all-time high was huge. Like I said, I feel like I got a little bamboozled into thinking that we were going to hit that $5,000 mark just because no one was expecting that big dump on Bitcoin, right? But it does show, you know, Bitcoin is still kind of the daddy of everything. Where if something drastic happens, then ETH will still follow it, but it has to be really drastic during where we are right now in the cycle, right? With that being said, you know, we could see something pretty crazy. And now, challenging that all-time high, the ETH Bitcoin chart in 2017 would be very tough, right? Because you see how high that was. But if there was a time that we could, obviously we got to get halfway there. And so I think that first thing we got to do is beat that high from the local high from 2021, right? If we're looking at or 2022, whenever it in between. But having this kind of, you know, so like hyper focus on Ethereum with these institutions and treasury companies and Tom Lee's and stuff like that, we could see something crazy happen. But you know, we're just now starting to see that hyper aggressive, like you know, price action match the headlines and stuff, right? We're just now starting to see it. Great. You know, one thing I was like, I don't know if we're going to see an all-time high in August with Ethereum, even though I was kind of hinting towards that before. But we got it. But it was a tag. Do I think we get more? I do think we get more, at least maybe, you know, crossing over that $5,000 mark, maybe get to 5,200 and then maybe reassessing and stuff like that. So, but that would shoot us up. You know, obviously Bitcoin going down, dominance going down as well. We could see something. We got to get back to the 2021 first, and then we can have that like conversation about getting to an all-time high, which would be amazing. Because I think if that happens, we're talking about some crazy Ethereum prices. You're talking about like 7,000 to 9,000, I think.
Yeah, and I knew this was happening, right? It took a little longer than I previously said. I thought it was going to be that 1 week, but we did get up there, touched it almost, right? And then we had that pullback down to like 42, and before it had to go up and touch it again, and then it actually passed it. So I'm thinking, you know what I mean, that we hit 6,200 in September. And before we see any other pullback, I think this runs all the way to 6,200. I think there's just so much momentum for Ethereum right now. And then, you know, maybe a pullback back in the fives, and then we're going to see 10,000 in December, in my opinion. 10,000 December, and then next May, around $18,000 Ethereum. That's kind of my top there. And I say that for a lot of different reasons. The main reason is, you know, these treasury companies are buying it up and staking it. You can't, when you buy Bitcoin up, you don't stake it. It just sits there like a pet rock. And these guys are seeing it. That's why you're seeing people immediately, you know, as soon as this guy dumped this Ethereum, he went and staked it, right? Because he's like, I got $1 billion. I can earn 6% on that. I mean, I can live off the interest the rest of my life, right? So it's like, it's definitely one of those things there. And we're going to get into that a little bit more too. Let's kind of get into the second part of today's title. Canary files for a spot American-made crypto ETF to hold coins developed, mined, or operated in the U.S. There's not many of them, right? It's mainly Cardano.
Doge?
What else is in there? Doge would be in there. XRP is in there. XLM is in there. A lot of the New York cryptos will be in there. But what do you think about this? An American-made crypto ETF. It kind of reminds me of like index funds now that we're kind of seeing. And eventually this is the American-made index fund. Maybe you'll see a Chinese-made. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I like it. I think it's different. I think it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah, because you do want some diversity in terms of index funds, not too much, but like enough to where you can feel more, you know, confident in the overall market, because you don't have to just go with the top, you know, top 10 blue chips or whatever. But you know, instantly the thing that came to my mind was tax, being friendly with the tax side of things. You know what I mean? Because it is American made. This current administration is all about American made and all that stuff. So that's what's making me feel like, you know, Canary wants to have an index that, you know, could be looked at as very strong. You know what I mean? If they have the right ones in there, and you know, there's all these tax benefits from it, you know, and a lot of the American institutions really pour into it.
If you buy this ETF, it's still taxable. It's because the ETF, it's not the actual crypto.
Well, I'm just saying, if they put that into it, is what I'm saying. If they're able to get like some sort of regulation into it, I agree that it is a different asset by nature.
I mean,
you know, because it's in the TradFi area, but they are representing the same assets that do benefit from the tax situation. So in my opinion, my humble opinion, I think that it should qualify for that. Why shouldn't it? You know what I mean? If it represents the exact same trade, you know what I mean? Then
It doesn't though. So this is a basket of goods. So what a basket of goods is, everything in that basket is American made, and the people holding the basket, but you can't redeem a basket of goods, right? So with let's just say XRP does this, right? It does an ETF. Potentially, if it's 1-to-1 backed, you could argue that, hey, you should be able to tax free because XRP is tax free because it's American made. But what a basket of goods represents, you can't redeem any of it.
Why?
So you can't redeem because you can't do 1-to-1. Like I can't. That's never been done before. Like you can't just because my basket of good has gold, silver, copper. I can't go and get like redemptions for gold, silver, and copper for the ETF. It's never been done before, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's definitely something that can be done. But looking at this now, then you would have so much backlash from all the other exchange traded funds, right? So and then you have to like add them into it because they're American made fund. It would cause a lot of controversy in my opinion. But I could see it being done. It would just be Congress would probably have to put a bill in or something. So
yeah, I do agree with that. I think there would have to be some sort of type of voting situation that goes through, and maybe that doesn't pass through. But then I would go for probably something that would be more of a crypto native approach, or maybe just holding these assets separately. I'm not sure, but at the end of the day, one thing is that they're trying to be more friendly on towards capital gains taxes in general. Maybe that could solve a lot of these issues. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what this looks like. Why put this together other than American made? You know what I mean? Like there has to be some sort of extra benefit for the the holder of this.
Well, it benefits the ETF provider because they got to buy those assets and sell those assets, right? So for them, that's huge if there's no tax on them, because that'll probably be one of their favorite things to kind of push on clients because they're not paying the taxes on those events.
Yeah, maybe they are able to offer some sort of fractionalization or something. I don't know. I agree with what your head is at. By the way, that sounds like a nightmare logistically.
Yeah,
if you offer that, but I want to benefit from the American made. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I want to
100%.
benefit from that. So
yeah, yep. And the last thing here is Bitmine added 190,000 ETH last week, bringing its holdings to 1.7 million. Ethereum worth 8.8 billion. Sailor has about 45 billion. So I mean, that's only a 4x from here. I think what Tom Lee is doing here is, Tom Lee is phenomenal at what he does. And dude, if Ethereum goes up against Bitcoin, Tom Lee might be able to pass Sailor. Is that possible? Can Tom Lee,
like in terms
Bitmine, pass Sailor in value of in value of with the holdings? So if Bitmine 4x's from here, 5x's from here, it'll be above Sailor's Bitcoin purchase.
Yeah, so that would be very interesting, right? I wonder what the Bitcoiners would say about that. There'd be like Tom Lee's already kind of getting some backlash, which that was expected, right? But at the end of the day, I mean, it's a smart play. You know what I mean? Like it's a smart play. And you see, our good friend Fred Krueger that's been on the timeline. He had his fund in Solana. He has Bitcoin Foundation. I mean, that's just how he is. He wrote a book about it and stuff like that. But he came out and said he's going to be the Tom Lee of Solana. And I was like, well, you better have a lot of money. Number one. Number two, I feel like people are wanting to discredit Tom in this. Yeah. In the sense of like, okay, Ethereum is not as good as people are saying it is. He doesn't know, but like, this is where tech doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like the tech side of it, by the way, the EVM tech stack everybody's using. So if you want to go down to like different levels, EVM, Ethereum's tech stack is like a very heavily used one. But besides that, like this is just straight monetary trade opportunity. You know what I mean? That Tom Lee's doing, right? And so like, yeah, I get it. Like you want to be like the next one, or you want to, believe in Bitcoin being like the best opportunity, which, it was the best opportunity. And, maybe the ecosystem has the biggest opportunity in the future, like something comes out of the ecosystem. But in terms of X's and that type of situation coming from like a lower level to a high level, like Ethereum's a better opportunity right now. Like you can't deny that. You know what I mean? And so, and it's starting to play out in terms of the X's, but like we haven't seen anything yet, in my opinion. Like when you used to talk about Ethereum being at like 19K, even like early next year or middle next year, I was kind of like scratching my head, like, I don't know, man, $19,000, like that's kind of that's a little bit out of reach in my opinion. But now I'm starting to believe that's very attainable. Just as long as they can keep the narrative and the proof of stake and earning from that being a big part of this, I think 19K is nothing in terms of what it can accomplish.
Yeah, and the one thing I think you kind of forget sometimes when you're looking at these price appreciations the way I do is I see giant candles where it's like a week. No, it's where
in my dreams. I was just kidding.
Well, no. I'm just saying, like, if you look at the monthly candle for Ethereum, right?
Oh yeah,
it's the biggest candle ever. I think people forget that can happen. Yeah, I think people forget that we can go up 40-60% in 1 month. Right. And it happens a lot. Right. And I do think we see giant green candle. It does.
Well, you know what makes people forget that? Well, you know what makes people forget that?
2 years of
$1,700 big Ethereum in was it March? Right. So like when you see that and then everybody's like kicking Ethereum like it's like the nerdy kid in school and he's getting beat up, taken for lunch money and then it's just made fun of the entire time and it gets to 1,700. You're just like, geez, is it done? Is it? I mean, like Ansem even said, like he posted something like, "I'll do something if Ethereum ever gets back to 4,000," or somebody like someone.
Yeah, he's irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, but what my point is that everybody, even the big accounts were saying it was done, it was dead. Clemente, they were all saying that. And now
all Solana guys, I mean, of course they're saying that. I mean, go to the other side of the aisle. Look at Bankless. These guys were basically saying, but this is heavily manipulated. Yeah, and it was heavily manipulated down.
But you lost them. You saw them on their show, kind of question a little bit. Like they were kind of like, what's happening? They took the beating too. You know what I mean? They took the beating like a lot of people. They were just kind of, you could tell they were stressed. They were stressed because like Ethereum. No, this is talking. I'm talking about like this is like 6 months ago. After maybe like the $4,000 like fake out of Q4.
No, they were stressed because they got caught selling tokens.
Well,
that's why they were stressed. One guy took a 4-month hiatus.
Well, I mean, like Eigenlayer was a stressful event in general, I think, for them as well. But outside of that, like ETH performing very well could have made all that stress go away. Is my point. Like right at that moment. But like even us that wasn't covering ETH, we were just like, what the hell? Like when it was at 1,700 in March. I mean, that looked
obvious.
But
manipulated down.
But everybody was like, when is it going to happen? When is it going to turn?
I was still saying $18,000 ETH when it was $1,800. Right? Like it was so obvious.
You were down pretty bad in terms of like your mentality. You were just like, man, this what's like
not when is it going to catch? I knew that Ethereum was going to run.
We were both talking about how Ethereum was the indicator. It's the altcoin indicator. And we were just like, both like, dude, what the hell? Like, when is this going to get going? When is it going to happen? Like, it's not moving. We need Ethereum to move. Yeah. And even Jake Gallen came on their show and he goes, guys, like, once it crosses over 3,000 and stays there for like a couple weeks, that's when you can feel a little bit of relief. And it did that actually, I think literally a week later after he said that.
I got the receipts though. When Ethereum went home, I knew that it was over. I have the chart for it. Like I was saying, like this
when it went home, or you mean when it went back into the house or the upper part of the house?
Into the house and was sideways. That entire 2-month period when Ethereum was like 1,400, it was so obvious that was the bottom. Benjamin Cohen was calling for it. I listened to Benjamin Cohen when he says the dump is done. It was sideways for 2 months after that. You could have got Ethereum between 1,300 and 1,600 for 2 months.
Did it get that? I don't think it got down to 1,300. I thought the low was like 16, 17.
1,360.
Regardless, that was a very bloody time.
Stressful time.
And
No, I agree.
yeah, it was a very, especially whenever like, you had some of these other assets not necessarily performing as bad, but now ETH is performing much better than most all the assets, right? And so we're kind of waiting for these other assets to pick it up. But I do think we got to see ETH get into a little bit of a hyper price action, get in. Yes, it's hit a little something that we haven't seen before, but that little something is so close that we're talking about $100 increase from the all-time high. We need to see something like 5,500. We see 5,500 from ETH. We start to see 250, 300 Sol. We start to see, maybe trying to knock on $4 for XRP. Those kind of situations. ETH has to get to like 5,500 first. That excitement will be. I
think it happens this week.
It's such a big jump up from the previous all-time high. Like 4,900 was cool, but it didn't really like give us anything. You know what I mean? So I think that's coming soon.
The reason it didn't give us anything because 19,663 Bitcoin bought in 2011, valued at approximately 2.2 billion, was sold for 455,000 Ethereum through Hyperunit. So I never heard of Hyperunit. So I went and looked it up. Hyperunit, often referred to simply as Unit, is dedicated asset tokenization and bridging protocol within the Hyperliquid ecosystem. So it actually uses the Hyperliquid liquidity pools to do these one-for-one swaps. So Bitcoin, or I'm sorry, the money for money swap. So if you have a Bitcoin, you do Ethereum, but then it takes a fee. It made $6 million last night in fees, not to mention a $4 million slippage from Bitcoin to Ethereum. And out of all the Ethereum that he got, he staked 279,000 of it for 1.13 billion, and it's staked, done. And he's using Hyperliquid to stake it, which I didn't even know you could do that, but apparently you can. Hyperliquid, dude, oh my god, like it's everywhere. It's the biggest exchange in the world right now, in my opinion. Like I don't hear anyone talking about Binance or any of these other ones. It's Hyperliquid over and over and over. But let's get back to the Bitcoin for Ethereum. So
yeah, no, I mean, well, I want to talk a little bit about Hyperliquid too, because like I think you have a good point, but man, do they become to the point where they're so formidable that like it's going to be hard to take them out? I don't know. We'll hold that for after this statement. But like you said, Bitcoin to Ethereum situation. Like I said earlier in the show, I do think that this shows a little bit that Bitcoin is still, the granddaddy of them all. In terms of like assets in our class, but it could have pulled like if this was 6 months ago, it happened. Ethereum's like dumping like $600 easy, $800. You know what I mean? 1,000 maybe. But because Ethereum is in the position it is with all the kind of like media support, head figures like SharpLink and especially Tom Lee now, it was able to kind of take that punch and bounce back fairly quickly. But the thing that really got me was that like he turned it into Ethereum, but it like this sell down shook so many people that like they sold their Ethereum down. You know what I mean? Like they sold their Bitcoin and Ethereum and everything else, of course, you saw. So to me, it was just, very, very, I guess.
Was that a sell down though, or was it like shorts being hit? Because that's what or longs being hit. It seemed like it was a liquidation down. It didn't seem like
definitely it was a liquidation down, but I do think that like it did cause some panic, and I think people went into you as probably stable. I mean, I haven't looked at the analytics, but that's something I probably should take a look at after the show. But my point is that like, yes, $300 million of longs got liquidated pretty quick. I did see
that's why the price dropped. Yeah,
but also that does create, when price drops, it creates probably not institutions, but more of like some larger whales that are like, oh, what's happening? You know what I mean? Maybe they have stop losses also, like on spot. You can set spot stop losses, especially if you're in a system like Hyperliquid or even Binance or anything like that. You know what I mean? You just put it directly in a stable just in case. You set stop losses. That actually occurs more frequently than we think.
Yeah.
And it could be like a waterfall situation to where like a bunch of these whale stop losses hit at like 45, 44, 43, right? Or what? They didn't get that far, I know. Or 40, going from like 40, 47, 42. You get what I'm saying? So I don't know exactly what made the ETH part pull back as well, but I do agree that a lot of it had to do with open interest, in terms of like the long liquidation, 300 million. That's a lot. And then when people post about it too, it's just kind of like, and then you start to load up on shorts and all this stuff starts to happen. So we're about to see what's going to happen this week. But I do think it was an unfortunate on-chain, huge dump down on Bitcoin that we typically don't see affect the price that much, because a lot of times the big numbers are paper trading. But when it's directly on chain, and like you mentioned earlier, this guy wanted to avoid the KYCs or whoever this person was or entity, they wanted to avoid all that, so they went straight to this Hyperliquid application. Which now we can get into that kind of second part of this conversation, which is this going to happen more frequently, right?
Yeah,
I think people probably, I mean, it just talking about it made my stomach queasy, because I'm like, God dang, that's a lot of money that he was putting on the Hyperliquid chain and trusting this app Hyperunit, but he didn't want to get KYC'd enough to do it. Will more whales do this? Do you think this is going to be kind of the norm for this type of movement? And then also, how does this affect now? You can pretty much start to call them direct competitors of the centralized exchanges. Do they build their version of this? What happens next?
They can't. So the KYC is a big deal in a lot of countries. Obviously, Singapore, you can probably get away with it in other places, but most places this is why Hyperliquid is going to get attacked, right? They're going to get attacked by, not only these big exchanges, but they're possibly going to get attacked by countries. Because think about how much money, if this guy was a U.S. citizen, he would owe potentially $500 million to taxes, right, on this trade alone. Even if it was a long term to hold, maybe like 200 if it, he hold it for a long time. That's 200 billion. It's 200 million dollars that the U.S. potentially didn't see because of this Hyperliquid, right?
Well, depending on where it's from, but yeah.
Well, I mean, that's average tax around the world, right? So,
EU is definitely going to get theirs too. You're right. So,
exactly. So if this happened in the EU, if this happened anywhere, this is someone like Adam Back, who, people are rumoring that he is selling down some of his Bitcoin to get in these treasury companies. This could have been him as well. He might have been tired of getting hit with the taxes, so he did something like this. This is going to be looked at as danger to these countries, right? And I think this is going to. I mean, I love what Hyperliquid's doing. I really don't hope this happens. I'm not a guy who is hoping for the downfall. I'm just somebody who sees what happened with Luna, and potentially kind of seeing the same thing kind of happen here. But I do think Hyperliquid does get the 120, 150 before this happens. I don't think it's a threat right now, but things like this are going to put it on the radar of these bigger countries.
Yeah, and if you think about like the powerhouse countries, they always have an intelligence department, and the intelligence department works with other corrupt entities in other countries to take down other things that affect the overall picture, right? And I know that sounds really like tinfoil hat, but there's a lot of probably truth to that. I don't know. Go look at the drug wars, right? The war against drug in the 80s with the US, right? So and we know when it comes to monetary strategy and dominance, like the EU is a big part. Well, I won't say the EU, but that region is a huge part of WEF, and that's all connected with the globalists and all that stuff. All right, not going to go down to Alex. What's his last name? Alex Jones. Alex Jones road. But my point that I'm making is this is where, and I truly believe, Do Kwon and Luna was attacked by entity that was intelligence with some other country as well, and so this is where it could come into play. Right now, you're messing with tax dollars that we need, that we want. We're gonna take you out. Now, does that happen? I don't know, man. We're gonna see. That would be very, very dramatic. I think they would wait, though. They would wait.
They will. They'll wait. That's what I'm saying. 100.
They want to make sure that the bull market happens, because guys, like these governments are making their money. They're making their money through our industry, believe it, or not.
And think about this, right? Believe. So let's just say, the government agency, like, hey, we're gonna attack this, right? They tell all their big buddies. What do? They short it, right? Everyone, all the insiders, in short at Luna, right? There was billions of dollars made on the Luna short. I mean, if not like hundreds of billions, and they're gonna do the same thing here. And this is going to be one of the bigger things that happened next bear cycle. But I don't think that's until 2027. Right? I do think they're going to let things run. They're going to let things run hot for a while, but then they're going to be like, there's a lot out of nowhere. There's a lot of corruption happening. We need to clean this space up, and this is going to be one of the bigger units that they attack, in my opinion.
Yeah, could definitely be the case.
But I could be wrong. And then BitMEX co-founder Arthur Hayes predicts hype to pump 126x. So he's saying it's gonna be like $800 a coin soon. So he could be right too. And if they don't attack this, it will be $800 a coin. I do think I get 126x, but I just think that there's a lot of reasons that I think these governments aren't going to like this corporation. So, but we'll see. But let's kind of get into the crypto fear and greed here. So last week we're at a 56. Yesterday we're at a 53. We're lower than yesterday, but by a good portion.
51.
But pretty much. You're right there.
50.
50. So right there, I think you got it on the noggin there. What do you think, man? Do you think we see lower? Do you think we see in the 40s tomorrow?
I think the second half of today we got to bounce back. I mean, I can't see any reason we don't. I mean, like, what is the reason why we don't, other than maybe profit taking and like maybe preparing for like institutions to buy Ethereum cheaper? Like, a lot of stuff is not making sense right now. I'll just say that. There's a lot of not making sense at the very moment. So we just need for things to start making sense again. And I feel like let's just say that we start to like bomb again out of nowhere, no reason, whatever, right? That to me would be one of the biggest buying opportunities that we've seen this cycle. If this does happen, let's talk about Ethereum maybe getting back to like 4,400 and below. Like maybe 40 between visiting $44 to $4,100. Let's just say that's like on the table. If Ethereum gets to $4,100, I think that like it's not going to last there for very long. It's going to be a huge buying opportunity. I think a lot of these alts are going to get gut punched really hard, but I think they're going to be so like greatly discounted that like if you pass on that, it's just going to be like, man, you just missed on a big opportunity, because there's no reason for it to be bearish is my point, right? So that means that like if they're doing it, they're completely manipulating it to bring it down cheaper. So you got to think like them. To bring it down cheaper, then you got to buy when it's on discount like they are. They're bringing it down so these institutions can buy, because they know that these institutions will at least hold through like the bull peak of the bull market, right? So they bring it down to that point and help bring it back up. And I think that's probably, if this happens, it's the last time that we see low 4,000s in a very, very long time, if ever.
Yeah, I think the bottom's in. I think the bottom is in. I think we definitely went down and touched it last time. And I do think this weekly candle that we're in right now, that it is red, turns green. Probably by Wednesday or Thursday. I do think that potentially we're going to have a run up on Wednesday. I think we hit 5,600 this upcoming week. I'm really bullish right now, even when things are bearish. But I think that is exactly when you should be bullish, when everyone else is feeling different, because that is when these guys attack, right? And they attack heavy. But let's get into the next thing here, which is the Bitcoin price action and crypto bubbles, brought to you guys by Artura.finance. So guys, I'm messing around on Artura. Let me actually show you this. So I am up here. This is me right here. I have done $6,000 in volume, and I've only been using like $30. So I'm point farming here, guys. I want you guys to do the same exact thing. Come over here, make some trades. I'm in a trade right now. I'm actually in a long over here, but Artura is an amazing site. You guys can get over there, but if you go to 2100 A Bitcoin World, and when we do have a full tutorial video in our library, go check it out. But I'm using my MetaMask wallet for this, and I am in a long, and I'm down $7 right now, 24%. But I'm chilling. I'm very bullish still. I think this thing does have this bounce, and I do think it bottomed here. I think we ride back up, but I'm down a little bit here. I'm down $7, but that's all you need to do. And potentially you can make out really, really big, because we do know that Botonics, guys, is giving you the biggest Bitcoin airdrop ever existed. I want it, and I want it bad. And what I'm doing here is I'm just using Artura to do it. And I know Artura has this amazing point system. There's not a lot of people here. This is an opportunity for the people that are smart here. Go over here, use it, do like I do. Just take $25, high leverage, and you just, if you lose it, you lose it. I spend that at freaking the gas station on freaking hot dogs and Slim Jims, right? So it doesn't, to me, it doesn't matter. So I'm just saying, like, it's time to use a little bit of that money to potentially make thousands of dollars. So, like, stop being stupid here, guys, and use it. And you guys check everything out at Artura.finance.
Oh man, there was a lag with you on that one. I don't know if it's me. Am I lagging?
No, I think everything's good.
Okay, cool. All right. Yeah. So just be aware, guys. Next week we are going to be doing giveaways for hot dogs and Slim Jims from I'm just kidding. No, I'm just joking
From
around.
Wawa. Or if you guys know Wawa.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. All right, guys. Well, before we get into the Bitcoin price action, please help us out here a bit on the YouTube side. Smash that like and subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on so you know when we go live on X. Let's share the space on the OnChain Revolution account and the Trench Kitty account as well. We're growing both of those communities, and we thank you guys so much for helping us out. Same thing with Abstract, Twitch, Kick, Spotify, and Rumble. Man, we are streaming to a lot of channels, but that's because we are trying to grow this space. That is for sure. All right, guys, we're going to get some Bitcoin price action now, starting with the hour chart as usual. Bitcoin is trying to rebound after a pretty ugly Sunday, right? Man, you saw last Friday this huge green candle. I mean, and the one thing that's weird too is like these type of green candles are usually reversals, right? So that makes me think that we're going to eventually rise back up, but we'll see what happens. I know it had to do with that Friday speech with Jerome Powell, but that speech put us back into the 80% for a rate cut. So we'll see how things turn around here if they do. But we got all the way up to 117,430 on Friday after that speech, only to bring it all the way back down. So Saturday was expected, like I said. And then, we had Sunday morning, going into Sunday morning, it looked like we had a little bit of a bounce back, and then bam, we just really just crushed all hopes and dreams. And that was that 24,000 Bitcoin that really just dump the chart. So we are back now under the 50-day EMA, but let's take a look at the indicators because it is saying we are back into buy pressure on the 1 hour chart. So man, this sell pressure lasted, from Friday, late Friday night all the way to that Sunday. Now we got back into buy pressure on early Monday morning. We'll see how strong this will be. We definitely need it to be pretty strong for things to pass, but we did cross the fast line over the slow line. So it is officially back in the buy pressure, and we just crossed overbought territory. We are sitting at a 85.3, and the 80 point mark is the crossover to buy pressure. But we'll see. We need this to continue, right? Because we need to change momentum. As of right now, we're still in this downtrend. We have not broken trend yet. So we need to do a little sideways here, maybe break trend by coming to the upside. Let's look at the support and resistance on the 1 hour for Bitcoin, going back to squeeze it in a little bit more, give us a little bit more of a local feel here. All right. Yeah, that works. Okay, I'll just go. Oh, I had it. Point that up and then pull this up like that. There we go. All right. Looking at the price point we are at right now, 112, 150. Yeah, so a little battle right here. So we are losing to the resistance area in this 112,200 or 112,200 basically. But right below that, we are showing. So these are really balanced areas, right? We are showing support, barely having the edge at the 112,100 and then 112 even there, and then really kind of getting a little bit more of an edge at the right under 112, and then above below that as well. So these areas we're looking really good. Not a ton of volume here. Volume picks back up down here. And in these areas, which, we're not really challenging too much down here, but the whole goal is not to get down there, right? That's the whole goal. So hopefully we get some pretty big buy bids that can push us up in these lower volume areas and then get us up here and back on the upward trajectory. We'll see if we can do that. So, it looks like we're kind of fighting this battle here to stay out of the higher volume areas, and we'll see if we can manage that and then maybe head to the upside there. So that's what I'm seeing for the hour chart. Maybe, getting past where we are right now into a little bit more of a support dominated area in the 113.5 area. Now, the 4 hour definitely looks like a decent setup. If you're looking at the indicators and the momentum indicator here with the MACD as well, it looks like it's wanting to exhaust here on the 4 hour chart for Bitcoin. We have crossed over the fast and slow line on the stochastic RSI, but that doesn't mean as much as it does on the MACD. We could kind of hang out here for a while. Plus, with these MACD candles being pretty decently sized, I do think that we need to have, some convincing push up, get to 114 to really come out of this sell pressure momentum. So, the 4 hour takes a bit. So we really need that 1 hour to push us up and then give us some really strong buy pressure. And then maybe we can come out of the sell pressure here. But that is what Bitcoin is looking like maybe for the next day or so. If we can get out of here, being in the process of getting out can be a good thing too, because it gets you into a good position there. But yeah, so really need to see how the 1 hour chart plays out here in the next 4, 6, 8 hours. Then can determine a bit more if we can come out of the sell pressure here. But we have a shot from what I just went over on the hour chart. If we can maintain here, maybe get some larger buy bids that push us up, we can come out of the 4 hour chart as well. Taking a look at Ethereum here. This is the monthly. I want to look at the shorter time frames here, but taking a look at the hour. Let's take the hour. Looks a bit better in my opinion. Now it does look like some momentum has turned back around. We don't want this to catch. We don't want Ethereum to have this continued turnaround here, because it looked like we were coming out, and this is unfortunate too, especially if you're a trader, man. On the hour chart, that's why a lot of times I look at the hour chart as the start of the larger time frames. And I know some people might disagree with me. They'll be like, oh, that's still considered a smaller time frame. I see where you're coming from, but for me, it's a little bit of a hybrid. But that's where you can get thrown off, is because you're thinking it's large enough to zoom out. But sometimes you'll get a lot of volatility back and forth still on the hour chart. But that's where I start. People have their own preferences on how they look at it. But the reason why I'm talking about this right now is because you could see, the sell pressure is very similar to the Bitcoin side, except for we had a little bit of breather on Sunday, and that's when we hit the 4,900, and then it dumped down once Bitcoin really dumped hard, right? But right now, if you were trading this morning, early morning, you were thinking, okay, great, like we're about to do another reversal to the upside, only to really get tricked out again by the hour chart. But it's not a full trick yet. It's not a full trick out yet, in my opinion. It's not a full fake out yet. We do need to see this fast line curl down further, in my opinion, and then obviously the stochastic starting to head back to oversold territory. So we still have hope here. We just got to see what the battle looks like, and I'm going to pull that up right now between support and resistance. So let's pull back to 1 a.m. Okay, that's fine. We can pull back to 1 a.m. this morning here. I think I even pulled up a little bit, but let's make that and then pull that down. All right, cool. Yeah, so where we are right now, so we are winning this battle with this low volume area on the support side. Right below that, we have the edge. It kind of swings back a little bit at the 4,600 mark, but this volume is kind of the local high volume area. Of course, it gets higher above, but like where we're trying to stay away from, I guess you could say. So this is really good defense, in my opinion, in terms of support. Holding this area right here, we got to hold this, and we have the advantage right here, and then we have the advantage right above. So if we can get some momentum and push up here, we could actually head back to right here, which would be the next resistance point, where it seems like we're having more of a fight, and that would be at the 4,630 area. So we're only about $20 away from that, maybe even $10 almost. Yeah, around $10. So, this is something that I feel pretty good about right here, as long as we can, stay away from this area. Because if we lose right here, if we lose this support region right here, we start to lose the battle in these low volume areas, and there's some big sell bids that come in. We could see a little bit of a free fall down to this area, and you just don't want to have that battle in the low volume areas. We've seen what happens whenever liquidity is thinner and in those lower volume areas. It can really fly one way or the other, whoever has the advantage, right? So that's something that we want to stay away from. We definitely want to protect this area at the 4,600 mark. Looking strong here, though. We'll see if we can continue that. Bitcoin dominance is something I wanted to take a look at. Something odd is happening on the daily here, because it is shooting back up. Why is it shooting back up? Maybe because Bitcoin has been severely oversold, in my opinion, in terms of, you know, that 24,000 Bitcoin drop. You saw a pretty drastic drop there, and so some Bitcoin whales are probably looking at this as just a buying opportunity for Bitcoin in itself, because they, you know, if you believe Bitcoin is getting to a minimum of 150 to 175 by end of year, then you're going to gobble up 110, right? Because that's another $40,000 to $60,000 per Bitcoin profit that you can get, right? So I think that's probably what's happening right now, is looking at it and that's a unique perspective right now, because Ethereum is the, you know, show in town. But maybe just bringing Bitcoin back up might be the first goal. And we're obviously seeing a kind of turnaround with dominance right here. So let's see what happens. I don't think they would a ton of like Ethereum whales would sell, or whales that got into Ethereum recently would sell out of Ethereum into Bitcoin. I think this is more of like the buy pressure for Ethereum maybe chilling a little bit, and then coming from other like stables or other liquidity buying Bitcoin up as it's cheap. That's most likely what I'm seeing. Now I could be wrong with that, but anyway, so that's what dominance looks like, guys. I would say just, you know, stay calm here, because you know, there was a lot of confusion over the weekend. Things looked really bullish. They're still bullish if you zoom out. I mean, September we're getting a rate cut. Typically it's forward looking for financial markets, meaning that, like, you know, I think bullishness right now is the mindset, right? Like being bullish right now heading into September, and maybe September is a different September this year because we are getting that rate cut. But typically it's a forward looking, like financial markets are forward looking. So maybe this is just a repricing to get these assets cheaper. But I would say the best thing to do is stay calm and look at this, if you have the extra capital or liquidity, as a discount buying opportunity, not financial advice. All right. Looking at the crypto bubbles really quick here. Not good. Yeah, not good at all. But you're looking at probably like a 95 to 95.5, really 95.5 split in terms of a red versus green. But some notables: Hyperliquid up 3.8%. They made a lot of money. Meaning,
$6 million.
What happens when they make fees? What do they do with those? They buy up their token, right?
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So you know, cause and effect, you know, happening, it seems like right here. So Hyperliquid up 3.8% there. Crypto.com, one of the only single ones other than Hyperliquid, up 1.2%. You got Vet up 2%, Morpho up 2.5%, and then Saros up 8%. Yeah, I'm not too sure about them, but like literally that's it, guys. Everything else red. Notables here, you see Solana pulling back about 5%, Ondo pulling back 5%. Optimism
5%. Yeah,
Optimism pulling back 7.3, and then you got your memes, Pengu pulling back 8%. But yeah, on average you're seeing about close to a 5%, which actually, if we can sustain this, is not actually that bad. If we can sustain this, let's hope the bleed out doesn't continue. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much all the market, guys. Even if you're looking at it, looks a little bit more green on the top 200 side, but you know, not much more. It's still kind of the average of 5%. If you look at everything here, you know, you can see about an average of 5%, and then you have your standouts here that are green. But yeah, guys, just, you know, try to stay calm, take a deep breath. We will get through this day.
Yup. Let's jump to our next segment here, which is roll call, where we kind of go into the comments and kind of take that first as first, guys. And today it is congratulations, Lackey Lukey. First time in a while, my friend. Last time you won, not too long ago, 8/18. You won someone last week, got your 40th, and today you got your 41st. If you don't know what this is, we take the first comment of the day on YouTube and we put it into the spreadsheet. And the winner, whoever has the most wins, it doesn't look like it's going to be Lackey Lukey and Webdro, will win a Bitcoin frog. Right now, valued at between $700 and $800. So that is going to be a huge win for you guys, and I'm excited for that. Let me show my screen. So yeah, this is it right here. So whoever wins this wins big. So we'll see. But let's kind of get into your comments here. Shout out to Arita. I got you. I locked you in on the wheel. Lackey Lukey locked you on the wheel. Tim Baker got you in, sir. ASAP Benji, you're in there. Chips and Dip, my guy. Vader, yep. Oh, cool. Locked you in. Spindrift locked you in. K99's locked in. Chief Axel, my guy. Appreciate you. Locked you in too. Joko, yeah, and I will reach back to your message as soon as this is over. Joker says, Shizzy, I was wondering if you sent it. Yeah, guys. I'll definitely make sure you guys get all your winnings for sure.
Really quick,
yeah.
Jeff said he's about 5 minutes late, so you can take your time with this.
Sounds good. Brandon Sitton is here. He's an easy money repost of the stream. My guy, appreciate you. Chota is here. Shout out to Chota. Let's see. That's Tim Baker. My guy, got you in there. Cash Cats with the coffee and the donuts and the dog go to the moon. Shout out to Cash Cats. Locked you into, my friend. Nighthawk is here. It's GM to both of y'all. TK to a Billy. Let's go. That would be absolutely insanity. Shout out to Nighthawk again. Rick G says, Trenchant with the kitty. TK, locked you in, Rick G. Glasshopper is here. I locked you in, Glasshopper. Appreciate you, my friend. Shout out to S with the $7 Canadian. Appreciate you, my friend. That means so much to us. Absolutely amazing for you to be here every day. I want to lock you in, man, but I don't have your, you know what? I'm locking you in anyway. But I'll get your Twitter handle if you win. But I'm lock the S in. Appreciate you, my friend. Stan in. Appreciate you, Stan. 4D Culture, you're locked in. And then Patty Poo, I'll lock you in right now. Smug Toshi, I like that. I like that a lot. But yeah, locked you guys in. I'll show you the wheel now so you guys can see your names are on there. So if you haven't entered the wheel yet, you still have about 30 minutes. We'll be doing the wheel around probably when we get after Jeff, so probably around like 12:30. So if you're not locked in yet, you still have plenty of time. All you got to do is lock in TK and your Twitter handle. And if you are on Twitter, don't worry about your Twitter handle. Just lock in a TK and I'll add you guys to the wheel. But yeah. So I have a few more topics while we wait for Jeff.
Yeah.
So this one is really interesting. Okay. So historically, September has been the worst month for Bitcoin. It's something we kind of talked about, but this is a really cool chart that I have here, kind of showing that, right? All right. So this is September. Let's take it back to 2013, down 1%. 2014 down 19%. We did have an up for 15 and 16, about 2 and 6, and then we saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 months of red, but barely red. Besides the one, right? 7 isn't anything. 5 isn't anything. 7, 7, 7. So, but then the last 3 though, 23, 24. Are we making a new trend? Is it time for a new trend here, or do you think maybe we continue the red for September?
I mean, the bull run year is what I look at in terms of patterns, but yeah, I mean,
if you say that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that like if we end August red though, then why not break the trend? You know what I'm saying? Because we broke the trend in August. Because if you look at 2021 and 2017, they were both pretty green. I mean, 2017 was heavily green in August.
Yeah.
2021 kind of, decently green, not nothing.
13%. That's
14 pretty much. I mean, if you round that up, right?
Yeah.
So to me, I think we're having an underperforming August so far.
Yeah. I mean, because you're right. Because normally all the Augusts have been in the bull market year, which is the year after the halving.
Yeah.
We have seen huge upward momentum, and this one we still could finish green though. I mean, we still have 6 days left, right? So,
and I think we probably do. I mean, that's my mindset at least.
Yeah.
But July was an amazing month, but it felt that way at least. But it's still underperforming quite a bit compared to 2021 and 2017.
Yeah.
You're looking at an 8% increase in July. This is for BTC, right? Now, we obviously, as number go up, percentages go down. Even if you do have a green month, right? It's not going to correlate exactly because it's harder to get a larger increase as the value of the asset goes up. But, it's going to be interesting. I'm more interested, I guess, to see, can you flip that to, is that actual CoinGlass or is that like a chart?
This is just a picture of a chart. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm curious to see what Ethereum's performance is for the past 2 months. You know what I mean? I'm pulling that up just to kind of
real quick though. So 2025 has been really bullish for Bitcoin. I mean, April, May, June, July, all green. So having a red August wouldn't be that big of a deal. But we did see back in 2017, and this is why people are comparing the Bitcoin cycle to 2017, is because look, April, May, June, July, August, all super bullish. I mean, 5 months in a row. Potentially we could see that again, but it did, if you look, it did have a negative 7% before it. So it had a 1 month cool off before an absolute explosion for the next 3 months. But I mean, besides that 1 month, dude, 2017 was the most bullish year ever for Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that year. It was definitely Bitcoin. Up until I would say 2021, like Bitcoin pretty much dominated like the entire. I mean, you definitely had your opportunities in 2017 and even some in 2013, but nothing like 2021. 2021 was like where like the altcoin opportunities were the largest in my opinion, just because it was like just volume was crazy. But I want to show this so we can continue this until Jeff gets in here as well. But if you look here on the Ethereum chart, that's probably a little too zoomed in. Okay, that's better. Yeah, so let's take a look at August's performance for Ethereum, because that's going to show, I think, a little bit more of like a pop and comparable to the previous cycle. So in August so far, like obviously August has been Ethereum's month. It's up almost 25%. If you compare to 2021, though, it's still down. We are going from different numbers, but still it's more I guess like reasonable comparison than Bitcoin's, because the scaling Bitcoin is not as easy. But if you look here in 2021, we had a 35% increase for August, and then 2017 we had a 92%, but that was brand new. That's why that ETH Bitcoin chart looked like it did in 2017, right? So that's where Ethereum was established number 2, basically, out of all the assets.
100%. So we'll see, but it is looking really good for August, up 24% after a 48% July. So I mean, potentially that continues. I mean, we could see hopefully another green month in September, but historically, it's not saying that. So we'll see.
Yeah, but historically, if you look at 2021 in the first 4 months, it's green, baby, green. If you look at 2017, it's green, baby, green. So we are due some green for Ethereum to finish the year. So why not just finish us off green? I think we do probably get like a breather of red, but I hope it's not September. Give it to me in October a little bit, because like let's say September brings Ethereum to like 5,600, 5,700, and then in October we just pull back to 5,200 or something like that. That's okay, because then the other alts can kind of still thrive in that month. So
couldn't agree more. All right, let's get into our next segment, and we're lucky enough every Monday to have the great team at Merlin Chain join us. We have Jeff joining us today, and these guys are building something extraordinary, amazing. I mean, with the wizard, guys, get ready to be able to trade cross-chain with this wizard. And he's going to be doing everything for you. You have to have some Bitcoin in your Merlin wallet, and you guys can trade on any chain. This is game-changing, in my opinion, with the Merlin team is doing there. And on top of that, they got the BTC staking. There's nowhere else right now where you can get 15% APY on your Bitcoin, right? That you're running out of time for that as well. And then they have the Merl staking. You guys get 15% on a day-to-day where you can lock it in, but you do have a 7-day cool off. But you can actually get your rewards and compound interest that. And then they have a 60-day lockup for 45%. So that's really interesting as well if you're interested in locking up your Merl. But they got a lot going on: Bitcoin, DeFi, AI. I mean, these guys are leading the way. So without further ado, let's bring up Jeff. Jeff, welcome back to OnChain Revolution. Thanks so much for being here, man.
Yeah, what's up, guys? Sorry about missing that last week.
No worries.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah, we know you're super busy, and we appreciate you spending the time with us every week. And we know if you miss, it's because you're doing business, right? So, but first of all, like, I feel very confused. We pay attention to the market every day. Obviously, Susan and I, it's our job. Felt really good heading into the weekend after the Fed speech in Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Why the bearish energy? I get the 24,000 Bitcoin dump. I get that. Okay, cool. But he was supposed to be buying Ethereum. Is like this weird. I feel like it's like there's no reason to be bearish right now, but price action is kind of telling us to be bearish. Is this just a whale discount? How do you perceive this?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I think the general market, debating, that Fed with the interest rate, back and forth, the possibility of decreasing. I think was like 99%, and then like 70%, and now it's like 80%. So like always back and forth. I think some emotions are priced in. People are thinking even though lowering the interest rate won't like have effects on the market that much. So I think right now the traders are just having different opinions on that, which is normal. And second, of course, we have lots of DAT going on right now. Lots of companies doing Ethereum. I just meeting two teams today. They're going to build, one of the largest Ethereum DAT on the market as well. So I think lots of things are still building, and I think the first wave is just I think it's still very strong. That Ethereum, coming from 2,000 to like 4,800 is still strong, right? But the market cannot be going up like all day. So I think right now it's like a rest time for these companies to actually set up the structure to actually buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. And last, of course, the altcoin and memes are not doing well. We don't see many innovations nowadays. So that part of the retail is just not that formal. But to be honest, the Nasdaq, like the stock market index is like highest in the history. So there are lots of setbacks based on that. But to me, honestly, I'm still bullish about the next 6 months because lots of things are not priced in yet. It's always safe right now to hold Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I don't think Ethereum will stop at 4,800. I think it will definitely go up. I talked to many whales, none of them are selling. I think 1 hour ago I see a news that the whale who sold Bitcoin and buy Ethereum, right? He staked 270,000 Ethereum into staking pool. So before the people are withdrawing from staking, and people are staking right now, waiting in line. The difference is about I think like 500,000 more are actually withdraw and leaving, potentially sell. But right now the difference is about 200K. So basically means the sell pressure and buy pressure are basically equal now. So yeah,
that's good.
So he staked all this Ethereum into it. Basically means he's more bullish on Ethereum than Bitcoin, which is still okay. So yeah, I think right now it's just like a phase. People are reconstructing all these things, the confidence, the company structure, the DAT treasury, all that stuff. So probably we'll see like a week or two of silence, but I'm still bullish on that.
Yeah, it's almost like, okay, for large whales and institutions, they'll probably look at this as like a discount period for them to acquire, because there is no real reason to be bearish, in my opinion, other than like what you said. Probably some of these centralized exchanges and stuff, they need a breather. They need to be able to do business, right? And I think I put that in a nice way. But with that being said, you still have the treasury, and Ethereum's being big with these treasury companies, and not just Ethereum. For the audience, the tokens and protocols and brands in our space that are developed, or companies are developing these treasury companies, you got to pay attention to that, because I think that is a meta that's like just soft baked in right now. It's like only institutions see it, but like we talk about it on our show, but I just think that like the audience needs to pay attention to those, because those ones, the TradFi people are going to pay attention to, because there's going to be like 50, 100, 200 million dollars that are invested in these companies to buy back. That means TradFi looks at these companies as like the ones that can survive. And I'm not saying if they don't have a treasury company that, be wary, but I mean, I'm using that as like part of my formula to say, okay, TradFi is taking these and these projects seriously. The other ones they don't know about yet, or they don't take them seriously. What do you think about that statement?
Yeah, because I think a month or 2 months ago, people were not paying attention. Even the TradFi people are not that formal yet about getting crypto in their treasury. But I mean, in the past week, we get like calls from TradFi people, and I think right now is first wave of FOMO. because when bull market comes, there's always like like second wave, third wave. Right now, I think it's like officially the first wave for FOMO, because before it was only MicroStrategy doing that, BitMine doing that, like very 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 few companies doing that. But right now, I think everyone is trying to do that, and you can see lots of positive news about story, about Ethereum, about all these companies building treasury, which hasn't happened yet because they just released the teaser. They just released the announcement they give to SEC, but the actual buy hasn't happened yet. You probably see many news like Babylon, like all that, but the buy hasn't started yet because in the stock market you need like a few weeks, sometimes few months to actually start buying, to actually inject liquidity into the crypto market. And in another way, saying, I think right now the crypto projects are getting liquidity from the stock market to actually pump the tokens. It hasn't started yet. All these tokens, like I said before, it hasn't started yet. But this is going to happen because because all these announcements are already made. So Nasdaq is apparently a market with 1,000 times more liquidity. And when those liquidity got injected into the crypto side, you can see lots of altcoins pumping like crazily, because you cannot imagine if you spend like 5 million buying tokens today on these altcoin projects, what the price will be, because the liquidity here is like comparatively bad, comparing to stock market. So like I said, like all these things are like have made announcement but hadn't started yet. That's why I'm very, very bullish on this. And when you see second wave of FOMO, when you see all these, retail users, all these, mid-tier companies from Nasdaq, everyone is trying to, get some crypto in the treasury. When you see that, probably that's like, the second or third wave of the FOMO. But right now we are on the way, like the first wave, which is the start.
Which could be a very like, I'm starting to think that we might get Shizzy like something crazy like 2021, but it's going to be started by this, and then once number go up for a lot of these big tokens that have these DATs, then basically the retail whales will say, I made a lot of profit because I've been holding this thing, not thinking necessarily is going to go up so aggressively. And then that they gamble a little bit, and then that's what brings some of the regular REITs. So we might actually get something that we experienced in 2021, just a little bit different twist to it.
Yeah, because when we look at
go ahead.
Yeah, because when we look at 2021, I think many people see it as we have innovations, which is not wrong. But to me, right now, being more realistic, it's never about innovation first. I think it's about liquidity first. So, for example, why everything's pumping in 2021? Because all these market makers like Jump, SBF, Alameda, FTX, all these people are doing like 3 arrows. All these people are doing Ponzi's, getting liquidity from the market maker to pump the tokens up and trying to liquidate, like Luna. So this is like crazy Ponzi liquidity coming from like these people, which pumping the market, but ending like badly. But I think like this term is the same thing, like because we don't see liquidity from 3 arrow, like 3 arrow is not there anymore. FTX, Alameda is not there anymore. Jump is not there anymore. So we don't see this liquidity. All these innovations seem weak. But if we can get this kind of liquidity from God nowhere, but if we have this all these innovations just suddenly make sense. People look at Ordinal, suddenly that makes sense. But right now, without liquidity, people think inscriptions are crap. So like people see things not because of like what it is, it's because how it performs. So I think people are on the like, I don't know if it's the right track, but this is definitely the track brings liquidity.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, too, the best innovation is number go up. Right, so whoever can make their coin go up, right? But there's a lot of other innovations as well, like AI and crypto is something that I see really being a strong narrative, especially in the next 6 to 12 months. And I'm kind of feeling like before we get into that though, I'm just curious of your opinion. So you said you're bullish for the next six months, right? Which would kind of mimic what happened in 2017. You were somebody that was around in 2017. Do you see this cycle and 2017 cycles being very similar in that aspect? Because it was just Bitcoin for a while, and the alts really didn't start running until November, December, January.
Yeah, I think every cycle now is different. But
Okay.
if you compare it to 2017, definitely somehow, because at that time Bitcoin is the only thing matters. Just like from 2023 to 2025,
Yeah.
Bitcoin is all that matters. But right now, something's changing because 2017 is great because Ethereum got up with ICO, with all of that. If it's just Bitcoin, not many people are going to be influenced, affected by that. So yeah, somehow I think your example makes sense. And right now, if we actually can see, like Ethereum, like Ethena, Solana, Hyperliquid, all these, like blue chips tokens can follow the speed. I think I saw a news today. There's another company raising $2 billion for Solana. So if those liquidity are not flippers, they're not buying that token into the treasury and sell.
Yeah.
Because the IPO companies, they put that in the treasury for long term, which can be bad for them, like to be like 100% guys. But this is good for crypto because 1% liquidity from Nasdaq, from stock market, is going to be huge for the crypto market.
Yeah. But I think the difference is that like institutions that do that, if there's enough of them, they can take the blunt of retail whales selling down those tokens, because they're going to inject so much to where, and then maybe they look at it as another like buying opportunity later down the road. It gets a little cheaper, you know what I mean? So if they truly believe in the longevity of it, then I agree. But I think they're planning for that, right? They have like a 5, 10, 15-year plan whenever they do these kind of things. One thing real quick. Go ahead.
Yeah, there are more long-term, angle, because like I know a friend of me, who's from a private equity fund. They bought Solana at like $80, like 4 years ago. So when Solana drops to $5, $8, and the people are like laughing at them, but they don't care because their fund is there for like tens of years, like for decades. And right now they're definitely like making money, like doubles, and comparing to their average performance, that is good performance.
Yeah, and these are type of financial institutions like the bank, right? They lend money out for 30 years. You think that they care that like, they're getting their money and interest in 30 years. These type of financial institutions, they plan for long term. So I think this could actually bring sustainability to our space, which we need. But one thing real quick before we get into, because I want to get into the wizard, I'm excited about being able to cross-chain stuff. You mentioned about this big whale staking Ethereum. I heard, and Shizzy, you and I can get into this deeper after Jeff's segment here, but Doge is planning to possibly switch from proof of stake to proof of work to proof of stake. Is proof of stake going to be the main approach, and does basically proof of work only remain with like the legacy Bitcoin and Litecoin and stuff like that?
Yeah, I think when you have a token, if you consider the token as like fully decentralized, like Bitcoin, I think it can stay as like proof of work. But right now, if you are being like realistic, you have to look at most tokens as like an independent project or company, right? So if you're trying to run a company, I think proof of stake is much better way, much better, efficient and easier to run, because it actually gets like the big whales together trying to build something. But with proof of work, it's more like many miners. They just I mean, they help the network to run, but they get incentives, and they they sell the tokens. So this is not economically good for the company. Like you cannot imagine like a real world company actually doing that, making like millions of people rich, but the company is not holding any of the assets. So yeah, I think if Doge is trying to be a meme, I think POW is okay. But if Doge is trying to get some innovation, which is not necessarily a good or bad idea, right? It's just like idea
Execution.
Yeah, it's just execution by then. So who knows? But yeah, if you're building a company, you definitely want build a company like around like many people think Ethena and Sui, these networks are not that decentralized, which is true, because when you talk to these people, they run like a like American corporate. But like at this cycle, American corporate type of token, like they win. Like if you look at Story, if you look at Ethena, if you look at Sui, they look like Ethereum, right? Because Ethereum is like Vitalik with the foundation, but being very very decentralized. They don't have like huge impact like these people. But these people like they run this like like Meta, like Google, but they can actually succeed somehow. So
Love it. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So basically, this week is going to be a pretty big week, and I think you're going to be traveling as well. Could you kind of get into that, and if anybody wanted to see you there, where's the best place to come find you?
Yeah, so there's like a Bitcoin, many Bitcoin events in Hong Kong this week. I think the main event is like the Bitcoin Summit, which was really popular last year or like 2 years ago. But right now, I don't think it's that popular. But still, like I'm really glad got invited. We had some keynote speech there. We had some panels there. Also, Jen from the
X-First.
Yeah, from the wallet, Xverse wallet. Sorry about that. Just like it's being relayed here. From Xverse, they also invited us, to the dinner with all the Bitcoin builders and stuff. So I think it's gonna be cool meeting all these friends. I think Unisat is gonna be there. Fractal is gonna be there. So all these builders are gonna be there. We're going to have a good long conversation about this. Discussing where the direction is going, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think it's very very good reunion for the Bitcoin builders, and also to get to know what like each of us is doing right now. So yeah, I'm gonna be for all these events, and if people are coming, feel free to to stop by, say hi, and I think after that we're going to be preparing for the KBW in Korea. So yeah, that's the schedule here. And also one thing is about the wizard. I think the wizard we have tested for about 2 weeks, and we found like some bugs, but in general people love using it because it's free. It's somehow sometimes better than ChatGPT and Grok because it gets you more detailed crypto information. And also, right now we're about to start a campaign this week, to encourage people to use more. We are giving away thousands of bucks for users who share the content. What kinds of questions you ask the wizard and what's the answer. So feel free to share some weird questions, answers, because somehow the wizard will answer you. So I think the weirder, the better. Just share the experience you're interacting with the wizard, and we're giving away thousands of bucks in 2 weeks. And that's going to be our first campaign. We're going to have 2 more campaigns after that. So yeah, I think AI is definitely going to be a huge thing, for crypto. But right now, I think people are very very undervaluing these ideas because people right now, I don't think they value anything. They value shitcoin somehow. And to me, my advice would be just hold on to the blue chips. I think for this cycle, not every random token can win, but blue chips.
Yeah.
If you're holding, like if you bought Story, like first time we mentioned that, a couple of months ago, you're making 300% profits because it got up from 1 to 2 billion to like right now 5 to 6 billion. So yeah, just hold on to the blue chips, and like don't think this is slow because not everyone can make like 100 times right now. Right now, if you're making like 10%. Which is good. If you're staking Merl for 15%, that is good because it's free money.
Or Bitcoin for 16% actually on average.
So Bitcoin, there's like another thing. So right now, we see many institutions are crazy about Ethereum, treasury.
Yeah.
But as a Bitcoin person, we're trying to do something different here. We're trying to help people to regain their confidence into Bitcoin treasury. I'm not saying people are not confident, but because Ethereum have staking yields for Ethereum. So for the TradFi people, they think, oh, like right now, if I have 10,000 Ethereum every year, I can get 3% more. This sounds like free money. So to TradFi people, 3% APR based on token is crazy, right?
Yeah.
So we're talking to many companies with Bitcoin treasury, and they are they are surprised we actually give Bitcoin something great. Value for the APR. So the more we talk to them, the more interested they are into this idea about BTC-Fi treasury, about the structure of Bitcoin treasury idea. So we started building that concept and the actual product for a long time now. And I believe in the next few days, few weeks, few months, we're going to have lots of big news on that. We're targeting about building billions of dollars of Bitcoin treasury for the Nasdaq companies, and I think that is the actual like operation business we're building here. So it gives Merlin something very very fundamental as well, because right now people see a token, they don't see any fundamentals, right? But I think this is like one of the fundamentals we're building here. So BTC-Fi and AI is something we're going for long, but in a short period of time, I think BTC file will be more, having more impact because that's actually generating, revenues. And perhaps, we're going to use that revenues to buy back the token. That is one of the possibilities. So, that actually gives us something to, actually make the token, usable and having some, fundamentals to grow in the longer term.
Token buyback has been the reason why Hyperliquid's been so strong. So for you guys to be using that same strategy, that's super bullish. I mean, that's insane, especially with the Bitcoin DeFi, the AI you guys have there now, potentially the token buybacks. I mean, there's no reason to be bearish on Merlin at all. and we do know some dApps are being built as well. It's going to bring a lot of users over there with some RWA stuff. So it's really exciting. Merlin is definitely really exciting to me right now. It's insane.
Yeah. Definitely, 100%. And just for clarity for the contest, for the audience, so if you use the version 0.3 right now and do the screenshot,
the beta is 0.4.
Okay, so we will post the link for that so they can utilize that.
What's the link, Jeff?
Sorry,
the
link
URL
beta.wizard, right?
Yeah, beta.wizard.tech.
beta.wizard.tech. And what you got to do, tag Merlin Chain in the post.
Oh, well, we haven't released the rules yet.
Okay. So follow Merlin Chain for sure, and then we'll update you guys, of course, like we do every day in terms of our partner updates. But make sure you're following Merlin Chain as well, and so you want to be a part of that. I mean, they're going to be doing campaigns like this, throughout their existence. So you want to take advantage of it, right? And be a part of that. So you get to test it and you get to post, and it's going to be funny, and you have a chance to win money, real money. So awesome.
Absolutely amazing.
Yep. Well, excuse me. I think that wraps everything up. Was there anything we missed?
No, I think we're good. And
all right.
I'll definitely pay attention to the events in Hong Kong and bring back more, information, ideas, alpha from all these Bitcoin events.
Absolutely. Jeff, you guys are
go
ahead.
Real quick though, what's that like there in Hong Kong? If you don't mind me asking, I know you got to go, but like for someone like that's a builder, it's different than someone who's normal. What is that like? Is it just constant, like here, there? Is it like hectic for you to be at one of these events as a builder?
What do you mean? Like
are you just like? Yeah, are you just like, is it just working the entire time? Do you get to enjoy it at all? Or is it just like, I got to meet this person, got to meet this person? I can't imagine the schedule like that for something.
Yeah,
like
it depends on people. Like I don't personally enjoy it, but for work, it's definitely going to be good because if I stay in my room every day, I don't get many information from outside, right? But if I get to talk to, hundreds of people, I get new ideas and, like lots of like you cannot imagine lots of great ideas are coming from all these offline talks. When I was talking to Lorenzo like a year ago, like we share lots of ideas, and you see lots of passionate builders for Bitcoin ecosystems. And also this time in Hong Kong, there are going to be lots of TradFi people because Hong Kong is was a place for TradFi business. Yeah. It's like the West, it's like the Eastern New York City, right? All these Wall Street people coming from New York, to Hong Kong. So. You can see different ideas from different industry, bouncing back to each other. So, yeah, I think it's gonna be a very, very good experience. But to me, it's like too exhausted because you cannot avoid all these meetings and stuff. But I'll try my best. Yeah, I'll try my best.
And you gotta save your energy for Korea because they like to get they like to get down.
For the party. Korea is not experience. Korea, you really don't talk about business. You just
social.
Yeah, it's all about social and connecting. But in Hong Kong. I think people are more, with suits, with all that stuff, sitting there, talk actual business, which is different, but also good.
Yeah. Awesome, Jeff. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate you every week. Our audience obviously appreciates you. They're talking in the chat here, but we will see you next week, possibly. Obviously, we're going to check in with you on Sunday. So,
yeah, see you next Monday.
All right.
Thanks, Jeff.
Bye.
Yeah, man, absolutely awesome as always, dude. I seriously, I would struggle being like a builder in one of those places where it's just like so many people probably want to talk to them. Like I would personally struggle with that. So it was good, kind of cool to kind of hear him say, it's work, right? It's definitely work. So yeah, 100%. He's out there working, guys. He's out there building, coming up with new ideas. I love it. I love everything.
Yeah. Absolutely. And he's a chill dude in general. So like whenever he was the keynote speaker at inscribing Singapore. Like he was in his like comfy sandals and like his shorts and stuff, but like he did an amazing job breaking it down and stuff like that. But that's the cool part of going to these events is you get to meet founders, man. Like right now we're such in this like growth period of crypto. Like, you know, you're still early because you can go to events if you pay attention and meet people like Jeff or meet founders of these companies in the future, 10, 20 years. Who knows how big they're going to be, right? At that time, they probably won't have as much time, right? So
100%. A few more topics here, and we'll get into the trenches here. So, real quick, this is kind of big to me anyway, because Stargate has approved LayerZero's acquisition with nearly 95% votes from its DAO members. STG token is now dead, guys. Holders can convert it to ZRO starting on Monday. So I don't know if that's today or next week, but how big is this? We do know that Wormhole tried to come in and sleaze them out, but the Stargate guys were like, hey, we use LayerZero's foundation, and let's make sure that we continue to, you know, make that successful. And now Stargate is officially a part of LayerZero, which it was the #1 DApp there anyway. So, but LayerZero did not want to lose its #1 DApp. So 95% of votes here to acquire that. So it's big for, you know, the STG holders because you are getting like a 30% pump on your token here. So I don't know,
exciting, but congratulations to the developers of Stargate. I mean, like back in the day, we knew it was something special, but like utilizing it for to be able to bridge into a Bitcoin layer 2 too. I mean, like I experienced that firsthand, and you're talking about lightning speed. And I know I emphasize that every single time, but it's just because it is, you know, like it's like one click. Oh, it's there. Wow. It's absolutely wild. So congratulations for the holders and the developers, because developers win here, right? They make a lot of money here.
Yeah, 100%. They're all got tokens, so they're all cashing in right now for sure. Strategy adds 3,081 Bitcoin for 356 at a 115K. So Sailor was buying at 115K. Now holds 632,457 Bitcoin worth 46 million. I think Sailor is just like, he wants Bitcoin number to go up so he can get more, get a bigger loan. But 356 million, this is his biggest buy in over a month. So shout out to Sailor, man, keeps adding, but he has to. But that's which is insane. He's gonna get to 1 million. I'm gonna predict May of 2026. What do you think?
What is he at right now?
He's at 632,000.
Ooh, depends on what the price of Bitcoin is, because as it goes up, it's gonna get harder and harder. But
he gets more. He's able to get more though as it goes up.
But like, I mean, yeah, I guess, but like, you have to think about like he has to ask for more money though.
Yeah, but at the same time, his stock's worth
like there's
more.
Gonna be
sell the stock for more money.
But there's gonna be like an astronomical number at some point, is what I'm trying to say. So where like, you know, Sailor buys $2 trillion worth of Bitcoin, like. Like
it's going to happen because
come on, I don't know.
MicroStrategy is going to be $1 trillion company. So for them to potentially, you know, buy, you know, $100 billion, I think trillions kind of. I mean, that's astronomical, but 100 million, like 100 billion, you could see that one day. Well, Bitcoin, you know, is a, you know, a.
But that's also so you don't think he's going to have a collapse?
I think strategy is the one that we've already seen him be able to do a terrible bear market, the worst bear market ever.
That's true.
So
that's when he started, that, right? Or no?
Yeah, well, he started in the good times. He started in August of 2020, and he got that ride up all the 2021, and then he was in the hell of a bear market. Still,
he kept buying. He kept buying. That is absolutely true. Yeah, man. I mean, it's kind of like Tether, right? It's like you have all these people calling out, you know, this company or entity that like, oh, you know, they don't have any backing, they're gonna fall under, they have nothing underneath them, but they continue to buy more things or acquire more value.
Well, Bitcoin has value too, right? So Bitcoin doubles from here. I mean,
I'm comparing like Sailor to Tether in terms of like, you know, you have people constantly saying that Tether is going to fall, it's going to fail, but then they constantly prove them wrong in terms of acquiring more assets, whether it's Bitcoin, bonds, or whatever. Now they're going to launch a new stablecoin. I mean, you know, I know Sailor hasn't been necessarily attacked as long as Tether has, but I mean, he's feeling it, you know, in terms of like the social sentiment towards them, I guess. But hey, he keeps proving them wrong. Like you said, he got through the hardest of hard times. What makes you think that he won't be able to get through this next bear market? Yeah.
And they're probably got some stuff going on, right? To where they're going to pay back some loans and stuff like that. But I mean, at the end of the day, when you have a stock, right, all you do is sell the stock down. Like if Sailor ever got in trouble, they would just sell 20% of the stock to make sure their Bitcoin's fine. So that's one thing they do have in their back pocket they could always do. But let's move along though. So trading on Odinfun will resume in just 24 hours. We do know the hack was about 10 days ago, 8 p.m. Hong Kong time. So it's back. So my question though is, obviously Bob put out this amazing post. Shout out to Bob Bodley, absolute legend. He put out this post here, and he basically says code is secure, audited, smart contract state is a great place. User funds are secure, backed 1-to-1. So he's up and running. So RadFi we've seen do insane jumps. I mean, you got Radcat came out of nowhere, sitting over 400K. Rad sitting just under 3. You've seen Runes World kind of go up and down. But do you think this continues now that Odin is back? So we do know a lot of the users did transition to RadFi after Odin was shut down. They felt like they had to go somewhere, right? They're like, they went to RadFi.
They're like Tyrone from Chappelle. They're itching. They're like, where am I gonna go? Where am I gonna go? No, I mean,
trade some runes. But
yeah, great opportunity for Scott, man. Congratulations for them.
Yeah,
I mean, having it built and a place for them to go. But the user experience is what matters. Like, how was the user experience for them? How many does he retain? How many goes back? Was everybody made whole from the situation with Odin? Seems to be like, every time that happens, they're always made whole. So I don't know, man. It could be a good opportunity for RadFi. At the very least, he had his shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's gotten his shot, him and his team, of what that looks like in terms of how many people he retains. We'll see.
A lot of new coins too. Something that we weren't really seeing until now. So yeah, shout out to Scott, man. Shout out to thing. I hope it just does continue, but you did see a lot of users come from Odin to go there. So we'll see if it continues. Really awesome. All right, let's get into the next segment here, which is we're going to do, guys, real quick before we get into the next segment, though. We are going to be doing the wheel spin. So if you have not put your Twitter handle NTK in the chat, do it now. You're running out of time. I'm going to be adding the people who came in just a few minutes ago. And yeah, but let's jump into one of my favorite new segments. I'm so glad we started it, called News from the Trenches. This is where Yagobi and our good friend Trench Kitty, they go in. Let's send over to Trench Kitty. Trench Kitty, how's it going out there, man?
I'm TK, aka Trench Kitty, half Solana token, half Bitcoin rune.
Guys, it's tough out here. No easing up. The weak hands won't let anything run. It's brutal out here. No let here.
So I got to make new videos, I know, but that was a good one. TK, he's out there, and then here's another one.
I'm going to $1 billion, and you'd have to be an idiot to think different.
I'm sorry. I'll make new video, guys. I promise. But what's going on, man? How's the trenches been? How you living out there? Is it bad as TK shows?
Yes, it is. It's tough, man. It's tough. I mean, Jeff kind of hit the nail on the head whenever he was talking about, like, just take your time right now. It's very different than even 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I've been in pretty much day in, day out, and the last token that I saw that had any type of really convincing push up was the Orange Era token, which was a trend token. So you kind of, at least you're lucky with that because it's going to die off, but like you get in. Since then, man, it's been really, really tough. But I think it has to do with a little bit of a reflection of the markets, the system that kind of we all play in on Solana with the launch pads, the sniper traders, the top ones, talking about top 100 to 200 traders that dominate that. And then you have your coin deployers that are making out like a bandit as well. Right. Yeah. And then you have your regular players that basically are funding all three operations. So does that mean that you can't win? No, but I think this means that like you have to really think outside of the box, and some of it's kind of logical thinking as well. But yeah. So something that happened yesterday in the trenches was I saw a video from Cupsy, which is the best, pretty much the best trenches trader, the most profitable one. He was watching a token go from 600,000 to $0. And he didn't see it. He didn't see it coming, and he's on the recording saying, "Man, like we're not going to get retail back with this." So that I think that's good self-reflection as well. Kind of like, hey, it wasn't even him. It was like another group that has like that works together that does this bundle strategy to be able to suck the liquidity out. But I think we need people like him and Orangey and these other people to realize it, right? Because they're the ones that are in the biggest green and P&L, but some of these other groups are starting to make a lot of money in different ways too, bundling and stuff like that. And they're seeing that, and they're seeing that it's not sustainable. So we'll see if there's anything that happens with that. But a tip that I've used is, and this is really simple logic. If you use GMGN, just grab like the top 20 addresses of winners from coins like Fartcoin or Troll, or the ones that have recently been like really hot and been on big runners, right? And then add them to a wallet tracker. I use Axiom for that. I get notifications. It's better to track those people that have had success and they've made $10,000, $50,000, $100,000 up to you don't want to get exactly the top 10. You want to mix it up, because some of these top 10 holders are centralized exchanges as well. Discard those, right? Or these MEV bots, you can discard those, but you want to kind of select a few and just do it with multiple different coins. I've already used that strategy today and or yesterday, and I had a good little winner. It wasn't anything crazy, I won like 40% of my position, and I got out because I was stagnant. But that these guys aren't going to hold on the tokens that are just going to be dying out quickly, right? And so that's something, and you got to think like that. Because right now everything is stacked against you in the trenches. Everything is stacked against you as a regular trader. You got to use tools like that, on whether it's Axiom or another platform.
Yeah, man. Are you seeing maybe a pickup potentially this week? Is it worth for anyone who wants to enter and start playing around over there? Do you think it's a good week to do that, or do you think maybe hang off until Solana maybe gets back to like all-time high or something?
I would say if you're trying to do a day-to-day thing without you're not wallet following someone that is holding that good at holding like good coins, then stay out. I say that because it's at this point, the teams are getting really good at creating tools, websites, communities, and basically they're just bundle sucking your liquidity. They're creating a bunch of bundle accounts. I'm starting to realize that more and more. And so if you're in a coin, in my opinion, then the biggest thing right now is to get some wallet addresses that you are confident in. You know what I mean? That they wouldn't hold this amount unless they have some sort of, and then also pay attention to their moves, why did they sell? What I'm seeing with a lot of them, they're selling half, which I've already talked about that strategy. You sell half of your entry, and then now you got the house money running that bag up if it goes up. If not, no. But you got to be meticulous about your strategy. Don't be impulsive, especially right now. This is the worst time, absolute worst time. And I'm telling you, these teams are really good. They're making out like bandits, by the way. You're talking about a token that gets to only 500,000 market cap, but then going back and forth between 200 and 500,000, they're making off with like 150K. So they split that between 4 people. How much is that? Right? That's a good payday. That's a good payday to be annoyed for a day and a half by trying to act like you're building a community, right? But so that's kind of what my mentality is. Stay out until number one, market conditions get better, because lack of liquidity means more scamming. And number two, these wallet addresses that I'm building confidence in, what are they doing? So those are the two things right now. So that's the news from the trenches right now, guys. The top traders are realizing that the system is not sustainable, which is, in my opinion, a good thing. But launch pads are going to launch pad. That's what they do. They don't care as much because making
money.
Yeah, Elon's making millions of dollars a day on this system that is perfectly set up for launch pads.
Yeah, 100%. All right, let's throw it over to the wheel here. We're going to spin this wheel 3 times, 3 different winners. Going to 100K, TK, the rune. So let's spin this thing. Let's see, get some winners in here. All right.
Good luck, good luck, good luck.
right.
Sound like Matthew McConaughey. All right,
It's
all right,
Peter.
all right.
Shout out to Peter. I think this is Glasshopper. Yeah, shout out to Glasshopper. You, my friend, one. I'll be reaching out to you. Let me lock in your Twitter handle here. All right, I'll give this a nice remove, and then I'll give it a nice shuffle. Let's shuffle it a few times and spin again. Jackpot Odin, congratulations to you, my friend. You are a winner. Let me add you. I'll remove you off here as well. Let's spin it one last time. Let's give it a couple more shuffles. Go. Final spin, 100K TK on the line here. Congratulations, Rick G. Absolutely amazing, guys. And if I don't have time to reach out to you, please reach out to me. I do get busy and I get forgetful sometimes. So just make sure that maybe you guys reach out to me first. So just let me know what you guys want to do, and I'll send you guys your 100K TK runes. So shout out to every single one of you guys, man. And remember, we're doing this every single day, guys. You guys can hop in here and play the game. So it's fun times. But that is our show, guys. We have 516 people in here, 250 on X, 48 on the Kitty X, 112 on Twitch, not to mention 107 on YouTube, and that's not including Rumble, Kick, and Abstract, and Spotify later. Appreciate every single one of you guys every single day.
Absolutely, guys. And without you guys, we could not do this. So we want to just always remind you guys that we're grateful for you. And also without our partners, we couldn't do it. So we're definitely grateful for them. But if you could check them out, we would greatly appreciate that. Sats Terminal is the DEX aggregator swap for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to swap for runes or alkanes, you got to do it at satsterminal.com because you can earn Amber points. Amber points are going to go towards an XP system that is going to be a give back to early adopters. So make sure you guys are earning that. Also, they have an open beta to test out their new borrowing and lending product that's going to be cross-chain. So make sure you go to Sats Terminal at Sats Terminal on X and message them if you want to be interested in that. I would definitely take advantage of that opportunity, especially if you're trying to get connected and build your network. And then Emblem Vault is the interoperability layer for the entire Bitcoin ecosystem. If you're looking to jump your ordinals to Ethereum, you got to use Emblem Vault. You can jump your Taproot Wizard right now over to Ethereum and take a loan out against it on the Gandhi application. And I'm sure Gandhi is going to be opening up to new collections as well from the Bitcoin ecosystem. But you're going to also be able to do this with other chains and ecosystems very soon. They're going to be adding other chains, possibly stuff like Abstract, Base, Arbitrum, Merlin possibly as well, and Solana is on that list as well. Speaking of Solana, you can use their AI Agent Hustle, which is their AI product, in my opinion, the best Solana AI product. And I think it's a top 3, if not the best in the overall crypto space. You can use Hustle to actually, get feedback. You can ask a question like, hey, Hustle, give me a couple, 2 to 5x plays on Solana that are safe. And he'll bring you a couple options and give you reasons why he thinks that these are safe. Also, you can do conditional trades with Agent Hustle as well, like buy Fartcoin when it drops 20% and then sell it off when I get to 150% there. So it's really awesome. They're getting to the automated kind of phase of Hustle, and I think it's just going to get better with time, right? And speaking of Hustle, there's also another product within its ecosystem called Migrate.fun. If you launched a token in Solana on Pump Fund, but you want to migrate to another launchpad like Bonk, or you want to manage your own LP on Radium, you can do that with Migrate.fund. All you got to do is reach out to the Emblem Vault team, and they will get you set up possibly for the next cohort. They're about to launch the first cohort, I believe, in the next couple of days. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, awesome stuff. And they do have the Hustle token, which basically powers the entire Agent Hustle and Migrate.fun ecosystem. And so if you want to look into that, you can look that up on Dex Screener. And lastly, they do have a TGE for their Bitcoin Rune. So they are Bitcoin natives as well. If you go to OpenSea and you search for founder vaults, you can actually purchase one of these ERC 721s. And once Bitcoin gets to block 915,000, these will open up and you have a Bitcoin wallet with those Bitcoin runes in there. So super exciting times, guys. Make sure you're following them on X and all their socials as well. Head over to emblem.vision for more information. And then Artura.finance is the perps and leverage DEX of the Bitcoin ecosystem. Soon you'll be able to trade synthetic Bitcoin fungible tokens on their platform like Doggo to the Moon, $1 billion Cat, and possibly Ordi and Sats, depending on demand. But also they're going to be adding synthetic derivatives like MicroStrategy and Coinbase. So it's going to be awesome. They're going to have options that you can't find just at any perps and leverage DEX platform. So want to head over there. And then right now you can actually earn XP, as they still have their XP system going on right now until they have their TGE, but you can earn the most points by adding liquidity to their vaults. You can earn points by doing small trades as well, and you're going to earn double points because Botanics is also going to be tracking their points as they're going to be giving a give back to early adopters as well. Head over to Artura.finance today to learn more. And then Tokyo Wallet is the multi-chain smart wallet that is building for best user and UI and UX experience for their users. They support Bitcoin with their partnership with Sats Terminal. You can swap for runes, or they partnered with Dex Hunter to be able to swap for Cardano tokens on the Cardano side. And on the Sui side, they support that now as well. And so you can swap for Sui tokens there. Also, there is an alpha section on their app where you can find our YouTube channel and other YouTubers as well. If you go look in there, if you have an iPhone, head over to the Apple App Store. If you have an Android, head over to Google Play, and you can download the app and give us your feedback there. Head over to Tokyo.io to learn more today. And then Merlin Chain is uniting Bitcoin strength through the power of AI. We talked about the Wizard, the 0.4. Right now, you can actually use the beta version. And if you do a screenshot, you can save that, but there's going to be rules that come out for it. You have a chance to win money, right? So make sure you're following their X account. Merlin Layer 2, I believe, is the X account there. But the Wizard guides you through the ecosystem of Merlin Chain. You can actually do DeFi functionality as well. You can stake, you can swap. But version 4 actually allows you to swap cross-chain. That's going to be amazing. But if you want to participate in their proof of stake security system for their chain, you have 3 options. You can stake Bitcoin to earn more Bitcoin. That averages out to be 16% APR, which is amazing APR for Bitcoin. That does end September 30th of this year, so just know that. And then the 2 options for Merlin Chain token is the flexible, which is a day-to-day. You can stake that, and then you can get your rewards every single day, and you can compound interest those rewards. But this will there will be a 7-day cool-off period if you do withdraw that. Just know that. And then you earn 15% APR with that. And then the bonded option is a 6-month lockup for this token, and you get 45% APR, but you can also claim the rewards there, and you can compound interest that as well. This team and Jeff is going to be in Hong Kong this week, so if you want to reach out to them to learn about Merlin Chain more, just kind of do a meet and greet, you can figure out where their booth is there. They're awesome people. I've met them multiple times when I was in Singapore. But head over to merlinchain.io to learn more there. And lastly is our guys from Ordinal Hive, which is the fastest ordinal marketplace in the whole entire ordinal market. If you sell your ordinals on Ordinal Hive, you will get liquidity right away. They don't make you wait for the entire block, which is, could be an hour or more. You get it right away. Also, amazing trader tools within their platform. You can see live mempool insights, and you can really just get an advantage by using the speed of their platform. Head over to ordinalhive.io today. And we appreciate you guys for checking out our partners.
Yep. And you guys have a few more minutes and wouldn't mind checking out OnChainRevolution.io with some of the best articles dating all the way back to 2023. If you know someone just entering the space, please send them our website. We really feel like it can help them get started and code up to where we are today. We have, we have about a 2-minute read right here talking about Trench Kitty. And if you go back to last week, we have articles every single week that you guys can go 2-3-minute reads. Absolutely perfect. All free here at OnChain Revolution. I think this will really, really help a lot of newer people in the space. So if you are new, check out our website and check out our articles there. If you guys need a VPN, and I highly recommend everyone have a VPN, use our Nord link here. You get the 70% coupon. $3 a month, guys. You get this amazing VPN. I use it every single day. I use Mexi Exchange. I can only use that with a VPN. So I highly recommend you guys use a VPN because it's so much cheaper to use these other exchanges than it is to use Coinbase. I mean, Coinbase charges you insane fees. Well, I think it's pennies on the dollar for some of these other exchanges. And with a VPN too, when you go to these websites, you're not giving them your IP address. Your IP address could lead them to your home address. Get a VPN, guys. There's no reason to be going to websites or anything and just letting the whole world know where you're at, right? It's stupid. Get a VPN today, $3 a month, lock it in for 2 years, set it, forget it. I'll see you in 2 years. Definitely check that out there if you're interested. And we also have a merch store. We have some of the best merch. We're going to be adding new stuff here as well. We recently just added the Trench Kitty stuff. If you want to get a Trench Kitty hoodie, I'm actually going to be buying this exact hoodie right here. I'm going to be getting it. I should probably buy it today. The hoodie season is coming. We're about a month away from hoodie season. So check out everything. Look at this. Look at this hoodie. Phenomenal. Phenomenal. I want it. Imagine when people come to you, what the hell is Trench Kitty? Like, mind your business. No, I'm just kidding. But check out everything at onchainrevolution.io. Remember, guys, we are live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central, 8 a.m. Pacific, and 3 p.m. UTC. Check us out all week, guys. And until tomorrow,
Peace.
OnChain, 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 OnChain. OnChain revolution roll call. Market recap. You not bullish enough, no. You're not bullish enough, no. Look at the price go. Bitcoin control. Why you still coping? Price action rolling. Don't fall for bear trap. Swapping indexes and putting it up in the sex. I can take profit right now. OnChain is where I be now. You can never look back. They don't want you to know. How did the market react? Fear and greed gotta adapt. Now we bridging the tokens and marching the network right now. You know how crazy we are. Nookies are savages now. They know how crazy we are. Chain abstraction, main attraction.